The billionaire's baby cried so loudly in the elegant Grand View restaurant that even the crystal chandeliers seemed to shiver. William Sterling, CEO of Sterling Industries, clutched his 6-month-old daughter in frustration, his $8,000 dinner with Japanese investors collapsing before his eyes. 40 minutes of endless wailing, expensive bottles, imported toys. Nothing worked. Customers whispered, investors shifted uncomfortably, and William's billion-dollar empire trembled on the edge of ruin. What happened next would shock everyone in that restaurant and completely rewrite the fate of a little girl he had cruelly underestimated. If you want to discover how one 12-year-old outsmarted a billionaire, subscribe now so you never miss stories that change the way you see the world. Linda Thompson, a tired waitress, stepped forward hesitantly. "Sir, I could try," she began, but William cut her off with a laugh so sharp it made her wince. I've already paid for professionals. Go back to serving food." Humiliated, Linda stepped back, but not before pointing toward a table in the corner where her 12-year-old daughter Victoria sat, books and a battered laptop spread out before her. "Actually, it's my daughter who understands babies," Linda said softly. The investors exchanged annoyed glances, sensing the dinner slipping away. William scoffed loudly, making sure the whole restaurant heard. "Fine, bring this junior consultant. If she fails, both of you are gone." Victoria rose calmly, closing a calculus book most college students couldn't comprehend. Her young eyes scanned the room with the precision of a scientist. She noticed the baby's posture, the noise of the cutlery, the temperature of the air. With quiet authority, she asked William for the child. Skepticism twisted his face, but desperation made his hands obey. In less than 30 seconds, the crying stopped. Emma Sterling smiled. The silence was breathtaking. The billionaire who thought money could buy peace had just been saved by a 12-year-old girl society dismissed. The Japanese investors leaned forward, impressed. The deal was safe for now. But William's pride had been wounded, and he would soon strike back in a way that revealed just how dangerous it is to underestimate true brilliance. The next morning, humiliation dripped through Linda's veins like poison. Called into the manager's office, she was told William had complained. "Your daughter embarrassed him," the manager whispered, avoiding her eyes. "He doesn't want Victoria in the restaurant ever again." 6 years of loyalty, countless shifts covered, all erased by one arrogant billionaire's pride. Linda felt the acid burn of injustice but swallowed her anger. Meanwhile, Victoria sat in the public library, her young fingers flying across an old computer. She wasn't studying homework. She was researching William Sterling. Financial reports, lawsuits, tax records. Patterns emerged before her like equations on a chalkboard. William had been sued 5 times, avoided taxes, and destroyed hundreds of families for profit. Victoria's notebook filled with equations and graphs, her prodigious mind piecing together a truth adults refused to see. At school, her teacher noticed her distraction. "Victoria, are the math exercises too difficult?" "No, teacher," she replied. "I'm studying asymmetric power. When one person controls everything and others have nothing. It's predictable. It can be solved." At lunch, while classmates gossiped and laughed, Victoria scribbled equations on her napkin, whispering to herself, "Power is just information applied at the right time." That evening, Linda broke the news about Sterling's demand. Victoria's face hardened, her eyes colder than any child should be. "He's afraid of me," she said quietly, "because I solved what his money couldn't. That makes me dangerous." Her mother tried to calm her, but Victoria was already deep inside a mental battlefield where arrogance was the enemy and mathematics was the weapon. Weeks passed, and strange events began unraveling Sterling's empire. Journalists asked uncomfortable questions. Former employees shared damning stories online. Then came the blow William couldn't ignore, a surprise IRS audit targeting the exact years Victoria had identified in her calculations. Panicked, William dismissed it all as coincidence. But behind the curtain, Victoria was orchestrating something bigger. With the help of Professor David Kim, a retired mathematician who recognized her brilliance. She refined her theories into weapons. He repeats mistakes every 18 months, she explained, always underestimating those he thinks are beneath him. That's his weakness. That's the equation I'll solve. The opportunity came faster than expected. Sterling prepared for his most important dinner, the finalization of a $400 million merger with Yamamoto Corporation. The meeting would again take place at Grandview. This time, Victoria would not just calm a baby. She would dismantle an empire. Hours before the dinner, she sent an anonymous message to Yamamoto executives. If you want to know who you're dealing with, watch how he treats those he believes are inferior. Armed with hidden recording devices, the Japanese delegation entered the restaurant ready to observe. As fate would have it, Linda served Sterling's table again. His face twisted with disdain at the sight of her. "You still work here," he sneered, his voice rising. "People like you should know your place. And that daughter of yours, that black child who thinks she's clever, I've ensured she won't trouble us again." Silence spread like wildfire. Yamamoto's eyes narrowed, recording every word. William thought he was showing strength. Instead, he was signing his own execution in front of the very men whose respect he needed most. By morning, the empire was rubble. Social media exploded with recordings of his arrogance. #Sterling racist trended globally. The Yamamoto deal collapsed in disgrace. His own board fired him overnight, and within weeks, the billionaire was reduced to a disgraced consultant no one would hire. Meanwhile, Victoria's life transformed. Her research had reached Yamamoto, who not only honored her brilliance but created a scholarship fund in her name. At just 13, she entered MIT as the youngest student in history. Linda too rose, promoted to Director of Human Resources for Yamamoto's U.S. operations. William Sterling watched from a cramped apartment as Victoria appeared on television, celebrated for designing algorithms that eliminated bias in corporate hiring. The world praised her, while his name remained a warning in business schools. How arrogance destroys empires. One evening, as Linda and Victoria walked the halls of MIT, her mother asked softly, "Did you always know this would happen?" Victoria shook her head. "I didn't know. I calculated the probability. People like him always collapse under their own arrogance. I just made sure the right people were watching. Because that's the truth. Brilliance doesn't need revenge. It builds something so powerful that it renders all prejudice irrelevant." If this story of a 12-year-old who turned arrogance into defeat has inspired you, don't forget to subscribe for more stories that prove intelligence, courage, and resilience always rewrite the rules of the game.